Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be tracking for the possibility for some snow and very cold weather across portions of the Ohio Valley in northeast here. And there may be a chance some of us may be able to see some accumulations across these areas as well. And luckily for the cold air, it's going to be short-lived, but we'll talk about that as well for later this week. But let's go ahead and get started with the watch warning map here. And it's pretty active across the plains. Now, some of these watches and warnings are going to overlap, so it's going to look kind of weird. But in the areas in the brown covers here, that's where we have high wind warnings and wind advisories. And keep in mind, a lot of this stuff here overlaps with each other. We do have multiple warnings overlapping with each other, so that's why it's going to look a little weird here. But areas in the hot pink here, that's where we have red flag warnings out there as well. So we got high wind and also for some red flag warnings, and there's going to be some fire danger out there, which we do have some wildfire problems in some of these places in here. So do not burn anything here for tonight. At least the winds should start to die down tonight here across some of these areas in here. If we take a look to the fire danger outlook here by the SPC, we do have a large critical zone here for fire weather, really from the Canadian border all the way down into, well, the Canadian border of portions of Minnesota and North Dakota, all the way down to western Texas and eastern New Mexico here. So a pretty large area of the plains here do have a chance for some, or it's favorable for fire weather. In areas in the orange here, that's where we have an elevated risk, which does go from border to border as well. And if we look into tomorrow, it's pretty much gone at that point here. We have a very strong system up there that's rapidly deepening, bringing some strong winds across a very large area as well, which you can see here by the GFS. Yeah, we got a pretty strong system up there, which we did have some high wind problems across the northwestern United States as well with this same system. And this system has really got pretty strong here in with these isobars very close to each other. That's where we have some of the strongest winds out there. So, and there's even for some snow across the northwest, adding on top of that as well. This same, well, it's actually going to be a different storm system here. I mean, you do have that front there, but look all this cold air that's going to be coming in, which that's what we're going to be talking about here. But let's take a look at the SPC outlook real quick because this may bring some severe weather problems as that cold front moves to the southeastern United States. But this is today. Uh, Pretty much the only place we got here is thunder, possibly for northern Florida and southern Georgia. Other than that, no severe weather expected. However, tomorrow that changes. We got a marginal risk for severe weather across most of Arkansas, northern Louisiana, northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, the northern half of Mississippi, northwestern Alabama, and southwestern Tennessee. Some of these areas did get hit pretty hard with severe weather the other day. We have quite a few tornadoes out there. It did overperform, I'm not gonna lie. It did overperform out there a little bit. It was very active out there. And some of these same places may have the chance for, I mean, all hazards pretty much, but the risk levels should stay very low here. I mean, that's a 2% chance. It's a pretty low end risk. And, same way for the wind and hail, but it's just a low risk. It's a 1 out of 5 on the scale. But if you move on to day 3, that shifts a little bit further to the southeast, where we do have a marginal risk from southern Virginia all the way down into Louisiana and southeastern Texas, where pretty much the primary threat with this one is just going to be the damage wind. The tornado threat, it's going to be non-zero, but it's going to stay very low. In the hail, we do not really expect much of any hail with those storms there. Maybe some pea-sized hail, but other than that, not going to be too big of a deal of a setup here for severe weather. So let's go back to the GFS. You can see here, we're going to have a low pressure system develop somewhere in the lower Ohio Valley. That's going to be deepening as it moves to the northeast. And actually does have support of cold air behind it, and even starts to spit out some snow across southern Illinois to southeastern Missouri. And this happens every year. Sometimes in the springtime here, even though you got a big spring warm up, usually in the late winter in early spring here, but sometime in the middle of spring or late spring, you get this cold shot here. That's why we always say do not plant early because this stuff like this will happen. And you're going to see this low here really move quickly to the northeast. But check this out here. You got snow trying to mix in as far south as central Kentucky, eastern Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania. And we haven't really talked about snow in a while. And bam, take a look at this. Possibly some heavy snow for New York State. That could be a little overdone. But this is like a little bit of your classic winter storm for the Northeast here. It really is, at least for the interior Northeast. It seems like models have really been trending towards a stronger system, which can lead to an increased winter storm potential for for portions of New York State and also for Vermont and New Hampshire and probably into portions of Pennsylvania as well. And there's a chance for accumulations, despite of having very warm surface temperatures across these areas in here, because we've been pretty warm for some of these areas in here for the past couple weeks. So the ground temperatures will be pretty warm. So it'll take some time for some of the snow to stick here. But that's the GFS model here. And like I said earlier in the video, it's going to be short-lived here. You got this high pressure in here, and you can see here with the southwesterly flow in here, it's getting warmer over here, and you're going to see this move to the east here, and bam, pretty much your cold air is gone, except for the far northeastern United States there, but other than that, everybody's warmed up by early next week, so it's going to be short-lived, which I know a lot of us do not want any winter weather. I mean, we already had a rough winter for some of these places in here as well. Let's check out the Canadian model, see what it says. And it's basically nearly the same thing, you know, as the GFS model here. Heavy snow for New York State, eventually getting up into portions of Vermont, New Hampshire. Starts a rapidly deepening low. And check this out. Possibly some northwest snow action here. Even for some lake effect snow. I know the lakes has warmed up some for some of the Great Lakes in here. So there's even a chance for some lake effect snow for some of these places in here. And bam, it's already gone by really Sunday here for a lot of these areas in here. So again, it's going to be short-lived in here. I guess we can briefly take a look into those snowfall accumulations. And you can see here, mainly the higher elevations have the better chance of seeing quite a bit of snow. But it does show some places in New York State getting a foot of snow. That may be a little overdone, especially in the mountains of West Virginia. I don't think they're going to get that much snow. And for areas that show like 1 to 2 inches, I don't think you guys are going to see accumulations at all because of your very warm ground temperatures here. And that snow is not going to stick here. Probably the only thing it's going to stick is probably going to be the overpasses here. And some of these places will not really have problems on the roads here. It's just with the roads, may have concrete or just overpasses in general here will probably be the spots you need to be careful of for slick spots on the roads here. But other than that here, it's not going to cause too much of any major issues for some of us here that could be dealing with some of the snow. Let's check out the Canadian model, see what it says, and I have already checked this out here, so you can see here, it's similar to the GFS here. So there's a pretty decent agreement here with the models here. Pair some of the same places there may have a chance to get a foot of snow. It's a possibility, but I think the better chance is going to be those higher elevations again. And check out all that lake effect snow coming off of Lake Michigan there. You can see how it kind of travels into eastern Indiana, southwestern Ohio, to eastern Kentucky with some of that lake effect snow action there. So that's quite interesting there. Especially, it's it's kind of common here to have snow for some of these places here in April. I mean, it's happened here in Kentucky before, so it's like nothing out of the ordinary. Just keep in mind of that. I mean, every year you're gonna have one of these cold shots sometime in March, April, or even May. I mean, last year there was a big cold shot in May. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. If we take a look into the European model, You can see here, again, chance for snow. Portions of Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia, and I'm pretty sure it goes all the way down to the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. And you can see here, again, very similar to the other models. I mean, we got a really good agreement at this point here. And I guess we can take a look into those snowfall accumulations. Again, do not take these seriously here. This is just indicates of what falls out of the sky here. The 10-to-1 ratio. You can see here if it's snowfall totals, probably the better chance of seeing snowfall accumulations would be New York State. It really is, especially in those higher elevations. You can see here some places could pick up 16 inches of snow. That's a decent amount of snow right there. But again, best chance to see snowfall accumulations will be in the higher elevations here. And maybe into West Virginia here may have a chance for some accumulations in some of those mountainous regions as well. Checking out the NAM here, and I almost forgot to mention about this here. We need to watch for portions of Kentucky and Tennessee here. These areas here may have the chance to see some flooding issues, which I understand Nashville does not need any rain at all. They got hit pretty hard the other day across those areas in there where places got 5 to possibly up to 9 inches of rain in some places. There was a widespread 5 to 7 inch swath, which I know everybody should know at this point here. It's all on the news, stuff like that. But you haven't heard it, there you go. But anyways here, checking out the NAM here. Take a look at all this snow here, especially eastern Kentucky. How about that? Moderate snow? I kind of doubt it on that, but you can see here, again, very similar to the other models. Heavy swath of snow, New York State, portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, maybe as far south as Pennsylvania. But other than that there, it's very similar to the other models. So at least we have a pretty good agreement with the models here, at least for the snowfall totals as well. Let's check out those temperatures there because they could get pretty cold for some places in here. And some places may be able to experience a hard freeze. So let's take a look to that here. So seems like the coldest of temperatures are going to be Friday morning. And you can see here about the GFS. Take a look at the freezing mark all the way down to south central Alabama and Mississippi. Yeah, that's pretty far south. And that's, you're talking about some possibly well below average temperatures for some places in here. So it's going to get cold. And for a lot of places, it's going to be frost, but some other places will be a hard freeze. I mean, when you get down to the low 20s, for areas that's been experiencing for some very mild temperatures like some of these places in here can see a hard freeze Friday morning and even Thursday morning. If we take a look to Thursday morning in here, check out those temperatures there, especially across the upper Midwest here. Talk about some 20s and low 20s, possibly upper teens in some places up there. So yeah, a lot of these places will be experiencing lows in the upper 20s and highs not even getting that far at all, probably into the low 40s in some places. So it's going to be quite a cold shot. But you can see here how things get milder with time here. I mean, check out Saturday. We're now getting above freezing in some places. Then get into Sunday, you're talking about upper 30s, highs in the low 60s. So it's going to be a short-lived cold shot, at least. And that's what a lot of people would like to see. At least have a short-lived cold shot there as well. So let's check out the Canadian model with temperatures here. And this is probably going to take a moment to load here. There we go. And you can see here, Friday morning, it's actually a lot colder than the GFS model here. And it actually got teens all the way down into, even down as far south as Tennessee, Kentucky. Wow. That's some pretty cold temperatures in there. And that'll be a very hard freeze in there. That'll kill some stuff there for what's growing out there, especially for the grass, the trees. Yeah, the trees. Yeah, we got flowers on trees and stuff like that. They're blooming out there right now, man. If we're gonna have temperatures like this, boy, that'll kill it right there. And that's probably a little bit overkill in my opinion there for the temperatures, but that just gets to show you the potential of how cold it could get. I think the Canadian Mall may be a little overdone with the temperatures. Not gonna lie. With that, we'll skip the European model because it does have a little bit of a warm bias to the model. Here's the NAM. Friday morning, you can see are pretty similar to the other models. I think areas probably in probably just north of the red line here, probably will see 20s for lows. Friday morning here. Now it's gonna be like that for portions of the Northern Plains, Upper Midwest. A couple days back here, you can see there for wow Thursday morning. Jeez, a lot of people just at the freezing mark. Kind of ridiculous here, but again, it's going to be short-lived. So just keep in mind of that as well. So here's a little forecast I've made here. So areas in the dark blue, that's where we had the best chance of seeing some snow. And accumulations are a possibility. The better chance to see accumulations will probably be, again, New York State and probably into portions of Vermont, maybe down as far south as Pennsylvania. And even for some of the mountains across North Carolina and West Virginia, those folks may have the chance to see some accumulations. And for areas in dark blue, it's mainly for those higher elevations. There, the lower elevations, I don't think you'll see accumulations, but you can probably still see some snow out of it, which leads me to the light blue color. And in the light blue, that's where we have the possibility to see at least some snowflakes flying around, but we do not expect any accumulations for those regions there as well. And this is valid through April 1st to April 2nd. So, yeah, some places here it's going to see a decent amount of snow. Some other places will just see some snowflakes, and some may not see anything here. So, it's a little bit of a nuisance type of system here. And again, a lot of this is just going to be short lived. It's going to be happening for a couple of days. The snow part, it'll just be for like a day for some people, and for others, it may just be a couple hours. But for the cold temperatures, it's only going to last for a couple days. So it's not going to be too big a deal unless you have, you know, plants out there or anything. That will not be good. You're going to cover them up or just take them in if it's like pots of flowers or anything like that. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you really like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.